Hey guys, a little bit of news today. This is, as far as I know, everything is going to be pretty much about TNA and TNA related. First off, Sting's status with TNA. Yes, he is without a contract. Has he decided he's going to come back? He does not know yet. He's apparently has been saying that it's harder and harder for him to get into the ring and actually put on a show. He said if he retires, he doesn't want to be known as the man that had everybody's pity, that, you know, he was getting too old, and he could only put on an okay show and not a great show. So Sting has been taking time off and has been considering permanent retirement. That doesn't mean he won't come back for one more match. TNA does want to see Ric Flair versus Sting, and it's still being talked about. Since it got moved from last year to this year, it's talked about that will be a match at Bound for Glory. Sting versus Ric Flair. Sting's retirement match is what that's talked about being. Next, we're going to talk about Jeff Jarrett's insurance policy. His insurance policy that he's been talking about it's still supposed to be Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock is supposed to be at Genesis, although as far as I know, he has not yet signed. So another angle that has been thrown out there, not saying that's what it's actually going to happen because it hasn't been confirmed nor denied, at least it was a rumor, is that Jeff Jarrett's insurance policy is actually going to be Dixie Carter. Now, as many of you might be scratching your head on that one, it might be a way for Jeff Jarrett to turn face instead of staying heel, but that idea probably won't happen. But that was a rumor. Next, we're going to talk about RVD's mystery opponent. It's about an 80% chance that his mystery opponent is going to be Desmond Wolfe. That hasn't been confirmed yet either, but by the looks of it, Desmond Wolfe is going to be heel, and supposedly him and Rob Terry might be together. I'm not really sure. If I'm not mistaken, they were talking about doing Douglas Williams and Desmond Wolfe, but somebody has told me down the line, and I've looked through a couple sources, is that it's supposed to be Desmond Wolfe, and the idea is this is Desmond Wolfe's second chance at getting into Fortune. Now, whether or not it's going to be Wolfe against RVD, say it is, that'll be his mystery opponent, but then Wolfe declines or screws over Fortune later, I'm not really sure, but it's a huge percentage chance that it's supposed to be Desmond Wolfe going against RVD. There's been talk on the table of splitting Wolfe and Magnus up and putting back Williams and Magnus, but making Magnus a face and having the British Invasion, while having Rob Terry and Desmond Wolfe being a tag team with Immortals, where they're the better Brits, where the British Invasion are worse. Which is funny because Desmond Wolfe's a great wrestler, Douglas Williams is a great wrestler, Rob Terry's mediocre, and Brutus Magnus is mediocre. But, I mean, that's the latest that I've heard, and I wasn't going to report on it because I didn't think it'd be that big, but I've had 4 of my different sources are telling me that unless it changes again on the fly, that it's supposed to be Desmond Wolfe going against Rob Van Dam. That was the latest that they had heard, but last I recall, like a week ago, Desmond Wolfe was returning to be teamed up with Doug Williams and Brutus Magnus to reform the British Invasion, and then a little bit while down the road, Rob Terry was going to leave Immortal, become a face, and join British Invasion, and they were going to have Fortune versus British Invasion, where the Brits would be faces, and I don't know, it's all really, really confusing. So I don't know whether you want to call this a spoiler or not, because none of it has been confirmed. It's all up in the air. You know, TNA does a lot of that up in the air shit, changing on the fly, which isn't really good when you think about it. But it's always interesting. They got so much stuff going on. But I was told that by somebody who reports, who actually is a reporter, you know, gets paid for it and all that other shit, that TNA does this on the fly stuff on purpose to keep everybody guessing, because wrestling is too predictable. If we have it just crazy, And as long as the wrestlers know what's happening a couple days before, then the audience is all over the place. One day they know, the next day, wait a minute, that changed. So it's to keep people guessing and not make it, okay, well, wrestling is 3 months in advance, so we're going to know what's going to happen at Mania at the Rumble. So, I mean, that's the idea, is since the internet spoils so much, is if TNA brings out a bunch of different storylines and a bunch of different angles, and, you know, they're hidden, but people find it and report on it, then you got so many different angles and so many different storylines, people are believing each one, and when it happens, it's a completely different one. In the long run for audience, you know what? It's a good idea because it keeps people guessing, but really in a business standpoint, it's not that great. But, I mean, you need the audience to give the business. It's almost like contradictory. But anyways, that's what's supposed to happen as far as I know as of now, but I can almost guarantee you as of midnight Eastern, it's probably going to change again to something else. But that's what it is. I just thought I'd let you guys know. As always, the information is going to be in the description. Really, all I'm going to have is Sting. People have been asking if he's going to go to the WWE Hall of Fame. I don't think he will. He hasn't said that he won't, but he didn't say that he will. He's really not even contemplating WWE at the moment. I doubt he will, but hey, you never know.